All right, everybody, here we go with match number 1 between EG Axslav versus Fnatic Reign. Excuse me, game number 1 between EG Axslav and Fnatic MSI's Reign. It is going to be Terran versus Protoss, and starting map is going to be NASL's dual site. I am joined by my good old friend Orb. Orb, how the heck you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great as always.
And we have a wonderful Terran versus Protoss coming in here. This is my favorite matchup by far. I don't know, just lately it's been so near and dear to my heart because I really feel like I understand it. I recently switched to Protoss in Season 3. I did play Terran for MLG though, but you know, my TVP understanding has been so strong ever since I switched to Protoss. Unfortunately, it's been stronger for my TVP than my PvT, but nevertheless, you know, it's a tough matchup for both races, I think.
Yeah, I think PvT has kind of developed to the stage where everything is kind of, I don't want to say known, but so much of the matchup is understood now that you end up with these very even battles, and it just kind of comes down to who micros better. You know, with Templar, are you going to split up your Templar, get those storms and feedbacks off, or are they going to be in one spot and they all get EMP at once? Same thing, of course, for Ghosts. Are they going to get those EMPs and snipes off, or do they get feedbacked first? So oftentimes it just comes down to who micros better, and that's always a very healthy state of the game, and it's always really exciting to see.
Definitely. Well, we do have EG Axslav spawning over here as the blue Protoss, the 3 o'clock position. In the 9 o'clock, we have Fnatic MSI's Reign as the red Terran. And yeah, I really do feel that the game has really come down to, you know, positioning, army positioning, and being able to just utilize your units the most effective way possible. Now, on a map like dual site, I really feel like Terran does have a little bit of advantage. The drops are so difficult. You can see all this back area is really nice to just stick drops in, and basically Protoss can't do anything about it. So I'm interested to see how Axslav goes about this, because he has to be very wary about these, you know, counter drops as soon as he pushes out.
Now, it looks like we are going to see gas going down from a Reign, so I feel like the most common choice here would probably be something like a 2-Rax on a map like this. Wouldn't be a bad idea. The expansion is pretty wide open with those 2 huge choke points you have to defend, so something like a gasless expansion would be a huge risk on a map like this. So I do like that Reign is going for that. We'll have to see, is it going to be something like a 1-Rax expand? Will it be a 2-Rax expand? Or is it even possible that he might run up to Factory and go for something like a 1-1-1?
Yep, 1-1-1, or you could do that 2-1, which we saw, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you haven't seen already, go check it out, the GSL. Some monstrous things going on there, but there's a 2 barracks 1 factory play that you could be doing as well. We'll see what in factly happens. Axslav, for the meantime, is playing it a very economic style base. We can see that the 3rd chrono boost is going towards the Nexus, so he's getting a lot of probes out very early, just now starting the Zealot, so the Stalker will be delayed ever so slightly, but not going to be a big deal. In the meantime, Reign not looking like he's going for any add-ons, any techs. He's going straight for that factory.
So it might, in fact, be some type of 1-1-1 here. It could, of course, be conceivably something else, but with no second gas going down at this stage of the game, I don't think it's going to be something like a Cloak Banshee rush or anything of that sort. Could conceivably, of course, be that 2 barracks, 1 factory rush to siege tanks. But it seems like we might just see a pretty standard 1-1-1. I wouldn't be surprised to see it from a Reign, and on the 2-player map like this with a relatively small rush distance, Axslav could be in some trouble. He doesn't have a second gas, and he's just on 1 gate, so it looks like he's just going to try to do a 1-gate expansion, and that's kind of exactly what 1-1-1 can often counter.
Well, it's a tough situation for both the players. I mean, 1-1-1, you have this ticking time bomb where you don't want your opponent getting too many units, because really it could yield a lot of units. It could just, you know, be so difficult to stop. At the same time, it's like there's a lot of timing for Terran to be able to take advantage of their opponent. And we do see the 1-1-1 being geared up. The factory is getting a tech lab. There is 2 gas, of course, and the starport is coming out as well. Oh, interesting. We might be seeing straight to Banshee first, so it is that type of variation. We're probably going to be seeing some sort of cloak variation, which is absolutely normal. It's going to be a little bit delayed, but you know what? The amount of things that it really yields is very large.
Yeah, I don't think he's actually going to go for cloak, simply because he did add on that tech lab to the factory, so probably wouldn't have the gas. now that he's added that on. So it looks like he's probably just gonna be going for tank, Banshee, Marine, might mix some Ravens in there if he thinks that Axslav's gonna be mixing in a lot of Stalkers. But look at this, Axslav immediately going 1-gate robo. Definitely the smartest choice here. After you go for an expansion, it can be tempting to just drop down 2 more gateways if you don't know what your opponent's going for. And of course, he has been playing mostly in the dark, but the Stalker sees a number of Marines there. So he's going to be knowing that it's probably not just going to be some type of 1-rack expansion, not going to be anything like that, even without the amount of scouting information. And actually, he did see the gas, of course, earlier on. So he's very aware of the possibility of something like a 1-1-1. Adds on the robotics facility as soon as he expands. That'll allow him to get out those precious Immortals. And he's actually only added on 1 more gate. I would have expected a 3rd gateway by now, but we'll probably see that relatively soon.
Or did we say 1-1-1? I think we meant to say 3-1-1 because Rain just added on 2 more
I'm so
barracks.
happy.
Holy
I'm actually so happy to see this, Andre. I can't even tell you because I've been seeing 1-on-1 so often nowadays. But you know what? The Chinese have been actually doing this style of 3-1-1 instead. And they've been doing it for actually quite a while. So while 1-on-1 is scary, it's nothing on 3-1-1. You're just gonna have so many more Marines, and while the tanks are annoying and they create that positioning that you have to deal with, and the Banshees are annoying because if you ever run out of anti-air, it's over. It's really the Marines that are doing the majority of the DPS. Yeah. So this could be extremely scary for Axslav.
Well, oh my goodness, there was a little bit of a hiccup right there. Rain just walked into a supply problem, and he was supply capped for quite a long time, shoving down 2 of those supply depots, but now it looks like everything's okay. Looks like he's pushing out with 2 tanks and a group of Marines. I think this isn't to do much. Axslav actually loses a Stalker right there. And of course, he did lose a Stalker to that 1 Banshee. So he's minus 2 Stalkers for this eventual push to come. I don't know if he has the means to really defend this. Whoa! That's a lot of gateways coming up for Axslav.
Yeah, I'm worried for Axslav right now. I mean, these gateways are going to help him out a lot, but he actually hasn't made a single Immortal. He's just rushing Colossus as soon as possible. Now, that will be helpful versus those Marines, but he might run into some trouble with these tanks when they get there.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, you need to be able to deal with, well, I don't know. It's really tough. That Raven is going to approach 100 energy. The PDD is out there. He doesn't have a lot of anti-air, so he can just literally rush in with the Banshees and the PDD and just kill off the Colossus if he needs to. But here we go. The push is starting right now.
Yeah, he's going to move forward down where the line of sight blockers are, of course, to not allow Axslav to see it coming. Axslav doesn't have that big of an army, but the first Colossus is out. And here comes Fnatic Rain coming forward with the attack. He doesn't actually have siege mode done yet. There it finishes. Is he going to siege up? He's just unsieging right now, just staying there. Attack moving. I feel like he really should have waited for siege mode right now. He's actually lost the majority of his Marines, wasn't able to get the bunker up, and without that tank support, only now throwing down the point defense drone after, I mean, the Stalkers have already done their work, and it looks like Rain could be in a lot of trouble right now. Axslav doing a great job holding us off, and I feel like, oh, why did Rain attack before he had siege mode? Great Torp.
I know,
like,
that was
oh no.
so difficult. Not only that, he didn't have enough energy for that PDD. He was just approaching 100. He had literally 95 mana before all of that went down. Now, finally pushing forward. It looks like these 4 siege tanks do have full health and doing a little bit of kiting damage, but finally the tank shields are killed, and Fnatic Rain is actually going to GG out of there after losing every single one of those tanks. Axslav is going to take the match. Rain, what the heck you doing, man? I mean, we've seen Rain perform so well in MLGs, and all of a sudden, he has the build, he has the units, he has everything prepared. All he has to do is wait literally, Jake, 5 seconds, and you have a completely different push set up.
Absolutely, man. The strength of siege mode is like, it's so insane. It's not even the damage that it does, it's actually the position it gets you. It forces your opponent to engage. It allows you to get tanks set up right next to your opponent's wall off. I'm trying to figure out how I can show this, like on that map, you know, that wall off, or not the wall off, the cliff. Yeah. You can get your tanks set up right there. It's really hard for Protoss to engage onto you. You have the upper ground vision from your Ravens and your Banshees, so they can't just come and attack you on the upper ground. And with bunkers set up as well, it creates a beautiful position where the tanks shelling your buildings forces the Protoss to engage when they don't want to in a bad position. So if you don't have that siege mode and you're just kind of attack moving with your tanks onto Zealots, like Rain unfortunately was, all of a sudden you don't have the entire advantage that push is designed to get you.
And not only that, you know, Colossus, they're good, don't get me wrong, great at killing a lot of Marines. but that's if the Marines are all the way up in front. And on top of that, Terran has that capability of just throwing down that PDD, which he didn't have energy for, and just chasing with the Banshee, and he's absolutely perfectly fine. But we didn't see that. Literally 5 seconds. And
I know, right?
throughout that end, I was just like, oh, Rain, and I'm trying to cast it. It's just like so bothered. Unfortunately, for Rain, he's gonna lose that. But nice play by Axslav, was able to force field exactly what he needed to force field, isolate the Marines, get rid of them with that one Colossus, and just take the decisive advantage.
Yeah, I feel like we're almost like taking too much away from Axslav with all the talk about, Rain did make a big blunder. That was a mistake, but Axslav also played that very well. The fact that he just was warping in tons and tons of Zealots, a lot of Protoss players kind of make a mistake there and warping too many Stalkers, then they run into more trouble with those point defense drones. Zealots are also just a little bit more effective when you have siege tanks set up. You know, they're not going to be doing that bonus damage to the Zealots, especially when they're unsieged. You know, they're not going to be doing much to Zealots at all. So it was a solid defense by Axslav, and he just also happened to have that mistake from Rain on his side.
Yeah, really quickly before we cut to a break, I do want to mention his Colossus timing was perfect. As soon as the push came, Colossus was out. On top of that, he was on 5 gateways. He could Chrono Boost out. He also cut probes, gave him the ability to defend against that really nicely. So again, Axslav, congratulations to you. He's up 1-0. We're going to go into Game 2 after the short break. Stay tuned. More action coming your way.